Qantas is about to launch the longest flight in history, and physics said it shouldn't exist. 22 hours in the air, over 10,000 miles without touching the ground, burning through 168,000 litres of jet fuel, and somehow landing with passengers who are still alive and an airline that's still profitable. In October 2027, Qantas will launch Project Sunrise, a non-stop flight from Sydney to London that will become the longest scheduled commercial flight in history, and the engineering required to make it work borders on the absurd. Right now, the record belongs to Singapore Airlines. Their flight from Singapore to New York JFK covers 9,537 miles and takes roughly 18 hours and 50 minutes, crossing 10 time zones in the process. The aircraft doing the job is the A350-900 ULR, and Singapore Airlines is the only airline on the planet that flies it. They have 9 of them, and each one is essentially a flying fuel tank with seats. Here's the fundamental problem. To fly that far, you need an enormous amount of fuel. But fuel is heavy, and carrying heavy things requires burning more fuel. This creates what engineers call the fuel to carry fuel penalty. A vicious cycle where a significant portion of your initial fuel burn exists solely to transport the kerosene you'll need 6 hours from now. One analyst described the previous aircraft that flew this route, the A340-500, as pretty much a fuel tanker in the air. That plane carried just 100 passengers, all in business class, because there simply wasn't room for more once you accounted for all that fuel. And it still wasn't enough. Singapore Airlines cancelled those routes in 2013 because the economics were brutal. Tickets cost $8,800. The 4-engine A340-500 guzzled fuel at a punishing rate, and aviation analysts declared ultra-long-haul dead. The Centre for Aviation, known as CAPA, said it was unlikely there would ever be a return of flights over 17 hours. They were wrong. What changed everything was the A350. It burns 25% less fuel than the A340, roughly 5.8 tons per hour compared to the A340's 8 tons per hour. And that single efficiency gain transformed ultra-long-haul from financial suicide into a viable business. The secret is carbon fiber composites, 2 engines instead of 4, and Rolls-Royce Trent XWB power plants. There's also a detail most people miss entirely. Twin-engine planes were once banned from flying long overwater routes. Back in 1980, the FAA administrator literally said, "It'll be a cold day in hell before I let twins fly long-haul overwater routes." Pilots joked that ETOPS, Extended Twin Operations, the certification that eventually allowed it, actually stood for Engines Turn or Passengers Swim. Boeing proved the concept was viable with the 787 Dreamliner, which helped normalize twin-engine long-haul before the A350 pushed the envelope even further. Today, the A350 carries a 370-minute ETOPS rating, meaning it can fly over 6 hours from the nearest airport on a single engine. That revolution is the only reason any of this works. Qantas wants to go further still. Their Project Sunrise A350-1000 ULR adds a 20,000-litre rear fuel tank, pushing total capacity to 168,000 litres. The aircraft will carry 238 passengers across 4 classes for up to 22 hours, and because a 22-hour flight obliterates the standard 13-hour pilot duty limit, every single flight requires 4 pilots and 13 flight attendants. Qantas CEO Vanessa Hudson has been the driving force behind making Project Sunrise commercially viable, and she's also committed the airline to sourcing 500 million litres of sustainable aviation fuel annually from 2028 onward. A bet that ultra-long-haul and environmental responsibility don't have to be opposites. The name Project Sunrise reaches back to World War II, when Qantas flew Catalina flying boats from Western Australia to Sri Lanka. Those flights carried just 3 passengers and lasted 33 hours. Passengers watched the sunrise twice before they landed. Now Qantas is tackling the human body itself. Working with the University of Sydney, they've designed a well-being zone fitted with stretch handles, hydration stations, and 12 distinct lighting scenes built around circadian rhythm science, all calibrated to ease your body toward London time before you even touch down. The appetite for this is real. Since 2018, over 1.7 million passengers have flown Qantas's existing non-stop Perth to London service, flight QF9, proving that passengers will choose non-stop over a connection when given the chance. 70% of Australians surveyed say they want to book non-stop long-haul flights. As Qantas CEO Vanessa Hudson put it, the tyranny of distance for Australians has finally been conquered. 22 hours, 1 tank of fuel, no stops. Physics said no, engineering said watch me. Now, I want to hear from you. Would you take a 22-hour flight? Or is that way too much time inside a metal tube? And if you've ever taken the flight from Singapore to JFK, tell me about your experience in the comments. That's one I'd love to hear about. And if you like this video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more interesting aviation videos every week. Until next time, fly safe. Thanks for watching.